I always thought my family's worst trait was simple inconsistency. Promises made, promises forgotten. But nothing prepared me for the day my 8-year-old daughter Lily experienced her first real heartbreak, all thanks to my own sister. Lily had been counting down to her birthday for months. Turning 8 felt like a milestone to her, almost double digits, as she proudly told everyone. We booked a small party room at a local play center, decorated with pastel balloons and a huge banner with her name. She handwrote invitations to her classmates, making sure every letter looked perfect. The morning of the party, she woke up glowing with excitement. By noon, she was in her favorite purple dress, clutching a stack of thank you cards she had prepared for her guests. I remember checking my phone right before we left. Dozens of unread messages from parents. Confused, I opened them, and my stomach dropped. Every single one said some version of the same thing. "We got your cancellation message. Hope everything is okay." Cancellation? What cancellation? My hands started shaking as I scrolled through the messages. Some parents even apologized for not being able to make the new date, which I had never announced. My heart hammered as the truth slowly pieced itself together like a puzzle I didn't want to finish. There was only one person who had access to the guest list. Only one person I had trusted to help me send reminders. My sister, Amanda. I had asked her to send a simple follow-up text to the parents the night before, since I was working late. She agreed instantly, claiming she loved helping Lily. I didn't think twice about it. I didn't even imagine she could sabotage a child's birthday out of spite. But she did. I looked at Lily, who was happily adjusting her sparkly hair clip in the hallway mirror, humming the birthday song to herself. She had no idea that, according to every parent in her class, her party no longer existed. My throat tightened. I didn't know how to tell her. I didn't know if I could tell her. Maybe it was all a misunderstanding. Maybe Amanda messed up the message. Maybe. No. Deep down I knew. This wasn't a mistake. This was intentional. Still, I didn't want Lily's smile to fade. Not yet. So I forced myself to breathe, wiped my eyes, and said, "Sweetheart, let's go. It's your big day." We carried the cake, the gifts, the decorations, everything, to the party room. I prayed someone would show up. One kid, just one. But the minutes passed, and the room stayed empty. At first I kept pretending everything was fine. "We're just early," I told Lily with the brightest smile I could fake. "People always run late to parties." She nodded, arranging the colorful plates one more time, making sure every spot looked perfect. She didn't notice the way my voice cracked. She didn't notice how I kept checking the door every 10 seconds. 5 minutes passed, then 10, then 20. The sparkly excitement in Lily's eyes slowly dimmed, replaced by a confused little wrinkle in her forehead. "Mummy, did I do something wrong?" she finally whispered. My heart broke so loudly I swear I heard it. "No, no, sweetheart," I said, kneeling beside her. "You did absolutely nothing wrong. You're wonderful, you're kind, you're loved. I promise you, this isn't your fault." But my reassurance didn't matter. The empty room screamed louder than my words. 30 minutes in, still not a single child walked through the door. Lily sat down in one of the tiny chairs and stared at her shoes. She didn't cry, which somehow hurts more. She just held her little hands together and breathed slowly, like she was trying really hard not to fall apart. I sent one more message to the class group chat. "Hi everyone, we're here at Lily's party. Maybe there was confusion. The invitation said today at 2 p.m. Within seconds, responses poured in. "Oh, I thought it was cancelled. We got a message last night that the party was postponed. I'm so sorry. The cancellation text sounded final." Cancellation text. There it was. Confirmation. Amanda did this. I felt heat rise up my spine. Anger, disbelief, betrayal, all twisting together like barbed wire. My own sister sabotaged an 8-year-old's party, and for what? Jealousy, control, punishment. I grabbed my phone, my hands trembling so hard I nearly dropped it, and stepped outside to call her. She picked up on the first ring. "Well?" she said, sounding smug and bored. "How's the party?" Her voice oozed satisfaction, and it made my skin crawl. "You did this," I said, trying to keep my tone steady. "You told everyone the party was cancelled." She laughed, actually laughed. "Please, someone had to save you from embarrassing yourself." "You always overdo things. I thought you'd thank me." Thank her? For humiliating my daughter? For making an 8-year-old sit alone in a decorated room waiting for friends who would never come? I didn't even reply. I just hung up before I said something I wouldn't regret. Then, I walked back inside and saw Lily sitting with her cupcake, one single cupcake, tracing circles in the frosting with her fingertip. When she looked up, her eyes were shiny, but she forced a smile. "It's okay, Mummy. Maybe next year." Children shouldn't have to comfort adults. Children shouldn't have to be this strong. I sat next to her, wrapped my arm around her tiny shoulders, and whispered, "Sweetheart, this isn't over, I promise you." Because in that moment, a quiet anger settled into something solid. I wasn't letting this go. Not this time. Not when it hurt my daughter. And as soon as we got home, I started gathering receipts, screenshots, chat logs, everything. Amanda wanted war, fine. But she forgot one thing. I don't lose when my child is involved. That night, after Lily finally drifted to sleep from emotional exhaustion, I spread every piece of evidence across the kitchen counter. My hands were steady now, unusually steady. There was no trembling anger left, just a cold, crystal-clear sense of direction. I pulled up the class parent group chat, took screenshots of every "we thought it was cancelled" message, circled timestamps, highlighted phrases. I saved the call log showing the exact moment I confronted Amanda. Then I opened the message she sent from a fake number, the party cancelled text. The wording was unmistakably hers. Amanda always had this passive-aggressive tone, too sweet to be genuine. I stacked everything into a folder. Step 1 was complete. Step 2 was harder. The next morning, I sat Lily down at the table with pancakes and strawberries, her favorite. She looked better, still quiet, but not as crushed as yesterday. "Sweetheart," I said gently, "would you like a second birthday party? A real one?" Her face softened, hope flickering like a tiny flame. "With my friends," she whispered. "Yes. And nothing will stop them from coming this time." She nodded slowly, then leaned her head on my arm. I stroked her hair and kissed her forehead. No child should have to question whether people want to celebrate them. And I was going to make sure she never felt that way again. After breakfast, I called the school, explained everything, and asked them to send a note to parents clarifying the situation. They were horrified. They agreed immediately. Amanda's little power play, it was about to collapse. By Tuesday afternoon, the truth spread through the school like wildfire. Parents messaged me privately, apologizing over and over, some even offering to throw Lily a second party themselves. But there was another message too, a colder one, waiting from Amanda. "You really had to drag the whole school into this. Pathetic." I didn't respond. I forwarded it straight into my evidence folder. Because the next step was legal. I wasn't suing her for money. No, what I wanted was protection. A restraining order. Something official that would keep her from interfering in my daughter's life ever again. When I walked into an attorney's office that Thursday, I expected skepticism. Instead, the lawyer listened quietly, then said, "This was intentional emotional harm toward a minor. You have a case." For the first time since the ruined party, I felt a weight lift off my chest. Someone, an adult, saw what Amanda had done and didn't minimize it. When I left the office, I let myself breathe deeper. This wasn't revenge. This was accountability. And that night, I started planning Lily's real birthday celebration, one that no one could sabotage. Lily chose the theme, a space adventure party. Stars, planets, rocket-shaped snacks. She sketched everything in her notebook, the same notebook where she had earlier drawn the first party plan that never happened. This time, I made sure every parent got invitations directly from me, and only me. No middlemen. No family interference. I double confirmed numbers. I added a security code to the venue reservation. You'd think I was planning a presidential event, not an 8-year-old's birthday. But after what happened, I wasn't taking chances. Every evening, Lily grew more excited. She drew satin cupcakes. She planned games. She practiced her "Welcome to Space" greeting in front of the mirror. Watching her joy rebuild itself was healing for both of us. Meanwhile, Amanda kept calling, then texting, then calling again. I didn't answer a single time. I wasn't giving her the satisfaction. But her last message before the hearing was the one that made my blood freeze. If you think you can take my family away from me, you're wrong. You'll regret this. Not your daughter, not Lily. My family. That's when I realized this wasn't jealousy. This wasn't competition. This was obsession, and it was dangerous. The day of the court hearing, I walked in holding the folder of evidence so tightly that later my hand hurt. Amanda showed up looking polished, confident, and absolutely furious, the kind of fury that comes from being exposed. She tried to glare me into silence, but I didn't flinch. The judge reviewed everything: the fake cancellation text, the class chat messages, the threatening texts, the call logs, the statements from other parents. Amanda kept interrupting, trying to blame me, blame Lily, blame miscommunication, blame hurt feelings. But the judge saw through it. The ruling was merciful for what she did: a no-contact order involving Lily, mandatory counseling, a formal warning that future interference would lead to steeper consequences. Amanda stormed out of the courtroom like a tornado of hostility. I didn't care. That wasn't my problem anymore. My only priority was the little girl waiting at home, the one who deserved a real birthday, a real celebration, and a life free from manipulation. The morning of Lily's second birthday party, the real one, she woke up vibrating with excitement. She put on her galaxy dress, the one covered in little shimmering stars, and spun around the living room until she got dizzy. "Mummy, do you think people will really come?" she asked. I kneeled, held her cheeks gently, and smiled. "Yes, sweetheart. They're coming. Every single one." And they did. By 2 p.m., the venue was full. Kids ran around laughing, chasing each other between cardboard planets. Parents brought gifts, cupcakes, balloons. They hugged Lily. They apologized. They stayed. The room was loud, chaotic, overflowing with joy, everything the first party wasn't. I watched Lily blow out her candles, surrounded by friends, cheeks puffed, eyes sparkling with pure happiness. When she opened her eyes, she whispered, "This is the best birthday ever." She didn't know everything I'd done behind the scenes. She didn't need to. All she needed to know was this: she mattered. She was loved. And no one, not even family, would ever take that from her again. When the party finally ended, and we carried gifts to the car, Lily wrapped her arms around me in a tight, unexpected hug. "Thank you for fighting for me, Mummy." I froze, then slowly hugged her back, feeling tears sting my eyes. She didn't know the details. She didn't know about lawyers, evidence folders, or courtrooms. But she felt the truth. Kids always do. Later that night, when I tucked her into bed, she looked peaceful, really peaceful, for the first time in days. And I realized something. Amanda hadn't just sabotaged a birthday. She'd triggered the end of a toxic cycle that had been quietly poisoning our family for years. Because I wasn't going back. Not to the fake apologies, not to the guilt trips, not to the manipulation disguised as help. We were done. For good. Over the next week, I blocked Amanda everywhere: calls, messages, social media. I told my parents the truth too, though I braced myself for them to defend her. They didn't. My mother sat in stunned silence, then whispered, "I'm so sorry. We should have protected you both." My father looked genuinely angry, not at me but at the situation. "Your sister has crossed a line," he said. "Too many lines. It wasn't perfect. It didn't magically fix decades of issues. But it was something." And Lily, she bounced back with the speed only children have. Every day she talked excitedly about her party, her new astronaut cake, her friends' gifts. She started drawing rockets and stars and constellations all over her notebooks. She was healing. So was I. But one thing still lingered: the need to make sure this never happened to another child in our family. I filed an official statement with the school and district, explaining the incident in full. Not to punish Amanda further, the court already addressed that, but to ensure she would never again have access to the class contact list or be allowed to volunteer near children. They agreed. Her access was revoked. The school counselor even offered Lily supportive check-ins to help process the emotional side of what happened. But Lily, being the resilient little star she was, said to me one night, "Mummy, I'm okay now, because you fixed it." I didn't fix everything. I couldn't undo her heartbreak from that empty room. But I fixed what I could. And sometimes, as a parent, that's enough. Months passed. Birthdays came and went in other families. School events continued. Life moved forward, and Amanda slid into the background like a bad memory finally fading. Occasionally, I would see her name pop up in family discussions, someone mentioning she moved apartments, someone saying she was starting therapy, someone asking if I'd talk to her again. My answer was always the same: no, not out of hatred, not out of spite, but because boundaries aren't punishment, they're protection. And my daughter deserved a childhood free from the cruelty of someone who couldn't handle her own insecurities. One Saturday morning, months after everything, Lily and I were baking muffins when she suddenly asked, "Mummy, do you think Aunt Amanda hates me?" I paused, scooped some batter and set the spoon down. Then I crouched next to her and lifted her chin. "No, sweetheart. She doesn't hate you. She just doesn't know how to be kind. And when people don't know how to be kind, they make choices that hurt others." Lily considered that, then nodded slowly, her young mind processing the idea. "Then I hope she learns to be kind someday," she said softly. And that's when I felt something shift inside me. Children are incredible. Even after being hurt, they wish others well in a way adults rarely do. I kissed her forehead, smiling. "Me too, baby. Me too." A year later, on her 9th birthday, Lily insisted on inviting everyone: friends, neighbors, even her teachers. "It's not about who didn't come last time," she said proudly. "It's about who shows up now." She had grown. She had healed. She had turned something painful into something powerful. At the party, parents approached me again, thanking me for handling everything with grace. Some admitted they would have never stood up to a family member like that. But the truth is, I didn't do it out of bravery. I did it out of love. Because when you're a parent, love becomes armor, fuel, fire, everything you need to protect your child. As Lily blew out her candles again, surrounded by people who genuinely cared, I felt peace settle over us. The worst was behind us, the future was bright, and this time, no one could dim our light. Looking back, I see it clearly. Amanda didn't ruin Lily's birthday. She revealed herself. She exposed the cracks in our family structure: the control, the jealousy, the manipulation. She forced me to confront patterns I'd been tolerating for too long. Her cruelty pushed us into a better life. One with boundaries, one with safety, one with peace. I didn't lose a sister. I freed my daughter, and I found myself. And as Lily and I walked home from her 9th birthday party, carrying leftover cupcakes and balloons, she slipped her small hand into mine and said, "Mummy, Thank you for giving me 2 birthdays. I smiled. No, sweetheart. Thank you for giving me courage. The next few years became some of the happiest of our lives. Lily grew more confident, more social, more expressive. She joined the school's science club, made new friends, and became the kind of kid who volunteered to help decorate for every class party. I watched her reclaim every space where she once felt fear or embarrassment. Meanwhile, Amanda stayed out of our lives, restrained by both the court order and her own discomfort with accountability. Occasionally, I heard from relatives that she was still angry, still blaming everyone but herself. But that wasn't my responsibility. People who refuse growth stay stuck. People who face their mistakes rise above them. And Lily and I, we were rising. One summer afternoon, Lily asked if she could donate some of her old toys to a shelter. She said, "I want other kids to feel happy. No one deserves sad birthdays." That simple statement hit me harder than I expected. Trauma had not hardened her. It had deepened her empathy. We delivered the toys together. Lily even wrote little notes like, "You are loved and I hope your day is special." The director of the shelter thanked her with teary eyes. "That's rare kindness in someone so young," she said. But I knew why Lily had it. She'd learned the cost of cruelty, and she wanted to make sure no one else paid it. Years later, when Lily was 13, we were cleaning the attic when we found the box labeled "Birthday Party, Age 8. Inside were photos, leftover decorations, old invitations. Lily picked up a deflated balloon and laughed softly. "I used to feel sad when I saw these," she said. "But now, I feel proud, because we got through it, and we made better memories." And that's when I realized the story wasn't about a ruined party. It wasn't about family betrayal. It wasn't about legal battles. It was about a mother choosing her daughter every time, and a daughter growing into someone strong enough to choose kindness. As Lily got older, she asked for the truth, real details, not the softened version I gave her when she was 8. So one evening, we sat together on the couch, and I told her everything: why I went to court, what Amanda had done, how far I went to protect her. When I finished, Lily sat silently for a moment. Then she said, "I'm glad you fought for me, but I'm also glad we left that behind. I don't hate her. I just don't want people like that in my life." She wasn't bitter. She wasn't angry. She had simply grown past it. Her wisdom startled me, but also comforted me. We had both broken the cycle. Today, Lily is thriving, creative, confident, surrounded by friends who adore her. She doesn't fear birthdays anymore. She loves them. Every year she chooses a theme, helps plan decorations, and even invites the parents of other kids who struggled socially, so they feel welcome. Once, a monk called me aside at a party and said, Your daughter is one of the kindest children I've ever met. She makes everyone feel seen." And I smiled because I knew exactly where that came from. Lily had been unseen once, and she vowed never to let anyone else feel that way. The wound became wisdom, the pain became compassion, the story became strength. If there's anything I've learned through all of this, it's this: family isn't defined by blood. Family is defined by care. Sometimes the people closest to you can be the most toxic. And sometimes the bravest thing you can do, especially as a parent, is to walk away. Amanda took away one birthday, but she didn't break us. She didn't stop us. She didn't define us. We rebuilt, we healed, we celebrated. And Lily grew into a young woman who shines brighter than any star-themed party could ever capture. So now, every year, when we light her birthday candles, I look at her and think, we won. Not out of revenge, not out of spite, but out of love, bold, protective, enduring love, the kind every child deserves. And that is how an 8-year-old's ruined birthday became the moment that changed our lives forever.